It's just kids get to know people.
So Mary, go ahead and talk and ask if they can hear you.
What kind of business are you doing?
All right, Texas, I'm Texas, oh hell, the mighty state.
Ask Eric if he can hear you.
Can, the person, Eric, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear Karl back there talking?
I'm gonna put this chair right here.
I've got I've got
Because of
this
the cord.
uh,
People walk into it.
tool that it says. when
Do you
Like
do you
me.
need any more testing?
You can go
Yeah, I
right
think
to
we're
the
good.
file.
Can you want to just let them know we're still testing? the-
We're still testing everything, so you'll know when they start for sure.
Do that. So I don't, I'm.
Okay, go ahead and mute City of Bellaire.
Put some up in
No,
the house.
but hang on, you want side by side counting? You want
No,
side by
no,
side
no,
speaking?
this is good.
All of
I like
us,
this.
at some point, unless we die in a crash.
Oh, I guess, yeah, side by side.
At one point, we need all this.
My mother's 93,
Oh, okay, so Mary, start talking
so
again.
I do have some genes that may take me.
We're
Hello,
gonna have to unmute.
The fortune.
testing, testing.
Oh,
Welcome to the
Yeah,
city of
this is-
Bellaire.
are you on the south of this net or on the north?
I think we're going.
We're gonna be okay?
We're on the Bellaire south of.
Actually,
Yeah.
Walk around a little bit.
I know we can do, hang on.
so,
Uh-oh, it's getting fancy.
I don't know if you know peanut oak
Here we
estates.
go.
Uh-oh.
Say that again?
Peanut oak estates.
No.
Let's say-
Ten Oaks Estate.
Let's say that you
I'm just gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
You're gonna point it out to me.
Talk now.
Talk again? I can talk all
These are
night long.
wonderful machines.
I don't know that she is.
You don't hear me? I'm not transmitting?
Ask them if they can hear you again.
Oh, right next to that one's park.
Oh, you know what? Did it come undone?
Well, that sure was good.
That running really good. And Betsy now.
Yeah, when you moved in, there was no Edmund
No,
Park.
no,
There
there
was
was no Edmund Park. But
there
that
was
was-
cheese.
Yeah. And Betsy's, now we have a nice place that we go have some food and not take the car. We can walk.
Okay, now
That's really nice.
you have a better level, a better voice. How you doing, Eric
And Lori.
and Lori?
Hello.
Eric?
Hi.
Ah,
We have sound.
So how many people do we expect here?
500, 520.
we're not gonna be social distancing in this room at 520. but-
Yeah.
That's what we wouldn't.
We have
75% of the deaths in Australia because of COVID are people that have been vaccinated.
Is that for me?
Isn't that's just an amazing number.
What else would you like me to, you're okay on sound? I can detach.
sir.
I think we're good, right?
All right,
So
actually,
we need to plug in your clippings to this.
detach.
What's this?
This one, this is where the presentation.
Either water or.
Hand sanitizer.
Okay,
It's from recreation.
nice.
What's the battery actually?
This was from the library.
Oh, the battery's full.
Did you get it going?
Accolades.
So I have the presentation going from this,
Oh, nice.
and then we have Zoom transmitting this. I think I got it figured out.
They're not the right size, we have to be pushed, get rid of old t-shirts.
Yeah.
This past year, we had a ton of old ones.
Is that what's in here? Did I get a t-shirt?
Yeah, you can get a t-shirt there.
It's bound to fit one of my kids, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, of course, we don't have, but we got rid of it.
Hey, Karl.
The events. Yeah.
The microphone is muted. We can't hear anything.
This is Karl Miller. We're not presenting yet.
About to.
We're about to shortly.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Okay, you are live now.
Oh, and on camera. You guys upped it from last week. Good
Yes.
job.
Yeah, they put these clips on. Okay, you know, the things backwards for guys' shirts.
Oh, there's all sorts of great stories. Little boy, I was in Buffalo Bayou. We used to have rope swings. And then sometimes when you didn't get back and let off, you were going to go in the bayou, and it was how long are you going to wait until you do it to get back? It was a lot of fun. lived about 4 blocks from George Bush. And that was really fun. We were in his backyard one time and he chased us away in his boxer shorts. You know, if I'd only had a camera then. But George used to come by the house and talk to Mom about politics.
No, there's no way.
So,
That's pretty neat.
yeah, he was
That's
just,
thrilled me.
and well, Jeb was his son. He played baseball with him. So George was never president of the United States. George was always Jeb's dad.
Okay, yeah.
And Barbara, if you know, I accidentally saw her over at the Louvre when we were in France, and she was there too with some Secret Service people. She saw me, and she came over and we
That's
talked.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's real neat.
so, but she just was Jeb's mom.
Yeah, that's really neat.
So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the two people that we have online and get everybody. in
Is
group.
that Eric and Lori?
Yes.
Hello, Lori and Eric. This is Jim Hotze. We have a couple of people here and I was asked to come to speak about being on city council. And this second time I'd run for city council, I'd run for it before, about 12, maybe 16 years ago. And then it came up again that some things motivated me to want to participate in our political system so as to be a person that got to help steer the city in what I would call the correct manner. And so I put my name on the ballot and lo and behold, there were a couple of other people that I had never met before, and one named Catherine Lewis and another one with Nathan Wesley, and I had never met them. I hadn't met them before, didn't know them. And we kind of had similar thoughts, and all of a sudden we ran a great race and all three of us won, and we've been working on city council. We like to call Bellaire the city of homes. We like to think that we can create an environment that has features that are good for families to raise their families. And a little bit later, you're going to hear from Parks and Rec, and you'll hear what you hear. You'll find that there's a lot of great things that Parks and Rec has available for the citizens. Your library is going to come up today too, and the library is just a fantastic thing. It's unfortunate we ran out of money before we could build another library. But I'm kind of against going more than $100 million in debt, having half of our tax revenue committed to paying for loans and interest. So someday in the future, we may be able to do something about the library, but we need to support the library for what we have right now. And a little bit later, you'll hear about the library and anything you can do to help and support it. I appreciate that very much. The city council, everybody that's on city council that I know is ready to serve you, ready to listen to you. And you don't always have to agree with us. And I've got people on the council who I disagree with almost every day. But they're still good people and they've committed time to serve the Bellaire, and to that I appreciate very much. We're going to be electing 3 new city councilmen coming up here in November. And I wish that each one of you would consider studying the different candidates in voting, because we have a very low turnout for the city council elections. 4 years ago, it was 20%. 2 years ago, it was 30%. And having only 30% of the voters deciding the government, I really don't find that as a good thing. And I wish everybody that's in this group here tonight would study the candidates, ask questions, and then decide and vote. And I'd appreciate that. Now, I think I've gone over my time, so I'll go on to my, pass my mic to Parks and Rec.
Well, I'm Karl Miller. I'm Director of Parks Recreation Facilities. For Lori and Eric, I'm sorry you're not here. We have some very valuable gifts we're giving out if you were here tonight. So, sorry you're,
You gotta show them.
oh, well, you know, some of them are worth a lot,
Okay.
you know? Let's see here. You guys
You gotta
gonna miss a
walk up close to the
hat?
camera.
Okay, we'll show them off here. A hat, Camp Paseo. Yeah, they're actually, it's a pretty nice hat. A little clapper, you guys can use these tonight. And we have hand sanitizer, just to warn you, this is a good example of water companies switching gears during the pandemic. Don't drink the hand sanitizer, okay? Even though it looks like water, you know? And we have some trolley run t-shirts. So, sorry you guys aren't with us. I know you're here in spirit, and we appreciate y'all being here tonight.
But thanks for not showing up, because now I got like half of my whole family.
They got a whole new wardrobe now, you know? So, but no, we're glad you guys are here though, at least virtually with us. Like I said, I'm Karl Miller, Director of Parks Recreation Facilities. I've been with the City of Bellaire now for, I guess, next month is 15 years. Time flies. It's hard to believe it's been that long. I've been in the Parks and Recreation field now for 37 years, which is really crazy. I have a very broad background in the Parks and Recreation field. I've done a little bit of everything, started off in athletics and doing events and park maintenance. Then I'd worked for a city of Dallas where I was worked for in a recreation center as designed for people with disabilities. Then from there, I ran a rec center and I've done marketing, special events. I moved to Ohio and worked for a park district. Created a recreation division up there and did a lot of environmental interpretive type programming. And with the city of Tulsa, my primary responsibility was contract management. So I've done a lot of contract background. There was the zoo, the gun club, the garden center, special events. Just, it was all contract wise, which was kind of nice because I never had employee problems. I could just say to my contractor, deal with it, which is really kind of nice, you know? And then I came to Sugar Land. I was just director of Sugar Land for 5 years. Then I came to Bellaire. When I started with the city of Bellaire, I was director of facilities for 8 years. Jane Dembski, previous parks director, retired. My position as director of facilities and parks recreation director were combined to create the Parks Recreation and Facilities Department. Since then, we've taken on a little bit more. We're also now responsible for right-of-way management. We're also responsible for citywide utilities, and we've recently been blessed with the opportunity of fleet management. So we've kind of expanded there. And you ask why? It's because we're good, you know, or maybe we're just the crazy ones in the bunch, you know. So, but we're a very diverse department. You can see how we're kind of set up here. Myself, is there a pointer on this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But-
Okay, well, I'm at the top. There you go. And you can see we're kind of a flat organization within the department. We have a recreation superintendent, facility superintendent, a park superintendent, and then there's staff underneath them. And we'll go into that a little bit more here. How do Parks and Recreation Facilities Department make decisions? First, highest priorities, we look at council priorities. And then based on the priorities, we look at the comprehensive plan. We also have a 2015 Parks Recreation Master Plan and a user fee study that helps guide us along the way in our programming, capital projects, etc. We have the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board that is just great. I've really been lucky in all the years I've been here. I've had just a fantastic advisory board. So they're very helpful to us. Then we look for citizens' input. And from there, we identify needs and wants of the citizens, and then just good old fashioned staff looking to make things better. kind of touched on this here, the different divisions within the department. We have the recreation, the parks, and really building maintenance, but we also within that, we have fleet management, project management, depending on fleet management is under Buster Adams over parks. And then project management ultimately is under me, but it depends on the project and what we're doing to who's responsible for that specific project. My involvement, public involvement, primarily, city council meetings, liaison in the Parks Recreation Advisory Board, Bee Life, patrons for Bellaire Parks, Nature Discovery Center, Evelyn's Park. We attend various organization, community meetings, and then citizen inquiries. Under administration, which would be me, I'm ultimately responsible for the 2000 fiscal year 2022 budget. Within that, we have a allocated $3.8 million in expenditures, and I'll get into a little bit how that's broken out. And then revenue, we're projected to generate $860,000 in revenue this year. Within that budget, we have 33 different contracts that we manage. The master plan implementation, like I said, it was done in 2015. The city has done a great job in supporting it and moving forward and making improvements in the parks. We'll touch on a few of those. Our service plan, we do every 3 years, update our service plan. It provides direction for the department within the council priorities, the comprehensive plan, all those put into one, and it provides direction and focus for the department. Oversee marketing and promotions. We all learned things during COVID. We used to do a leisure guide. Every quarter we mailed out. Well, one of the things we've kind of discovered is people are turning more and more to the internet. And we're kind of finding out we don't need to do a leisure guide mailing out it. It's expensive to do. Ours has always been paid for through advertisement. Which is a great way to pay for something, but when it's 50% ads, kind of takes away from the quality. And if you go online, we just posted the most recent one, it was last week before, it looks fantastic. We're limited in color we could use when we mailed it out. We can use 4 colors, we can, the 4-color processing, there's no ads. And we found that's where people are turning. And I think COVID pushed us all to turn more that way. And that's where they're turning. So we're kind of backed off and producing and publishing and mailing out a magazine. And we're going this route right now. Now we may find we need to go back, but we think we need to kind of hang loose and just kind of see where that takes us. Right now, I'm real excited about it. We're hearing good things. Park Amenity inventory program. It's something we've been working through. We're constantly working through is updating our inventory, keeping track of what we have, the status and quality of it. Our ADA evaluation, transition plan implementation. I believe it was 2 years ago, the council, we hired a consultant, came in and assisted us with our ADA evaluation and transition plan. It's federal mandate that municipalities need to have one in place. Okay. Hired a company came in, they helped us put this document together, and they surveyed all the public grounds, all the public buildings, all our facilities, and determined where we have deficiencies within meeting ADA standards. From there, it gave us I'm going to say a roadmap to where we need to focus and keep continuously improving and eliminating any ADA deficiencies within the city. City of Bellaire really overall is doing a good job. We have obviously deficiencies, but I think the city's doing a very good job at trying to move forward. When you look at street upgrades and improvements with the curb cuts they're putting in, our buildings are definitely heading that direction more and more. The fire station, the police station, this building are getting there. So you're seeing things like the crosswalk over at Evelyn's Park. It has the beeper on it. So the city is heading in the right direction, but it's going to take years. It's not something that is going to happen overnight. It's going to take, well, it's an ongoing project forever. You're going to constantly be improving and wanting to enhance your accessibility of all your grounds and facilities. Fleet management program is something recently that was moved over to our department. I guess about January, it moved over to us. So we're still trying to, Buster's done a really good job of getting hands around it, probably better than I have, but we're heading that direction. And I think that's something that he's done a great job on. The 5-year capital improvement program, if within the 5 years, have they talked about capital programs yet? The whole program itself, 5-year plan?
I think they touched on it with CMO.
Okay, well, the city, basically they have a 5-year capital improvement plan, okay? And within that plan, it's kind of like, you want to do improvements at your house, okay? You want to redo your kitchen and your bathroom and your yard and paint the outside. Well, you can't do it all at once. So you kind of identify the phases you hope to do it in. Well, you may do this year, I may redo my kitchen. Well, next year I may hope to do the bathroom, but if I don't have funding, I can't do the bathroom, so it may get pushed back again. So the 5-year plan is just a map. It's a roadmap to where you want to get in the long run is what it is. So when council approves a budget, they see a 5-year plan. Like this year, they were seeing a plan for 22 through, I guess, been 27. But when they approve the budget, they're only approving a budget for fiscal year 22. They're not approving these future projects because things may change, So we have a 5-year plan, and then from there you have, I'm going to say it's an unfunded list, almost like your wish list, things you want to do in the future down the road. And those are just a list of projects. Well, in our list of projects, that all comes from our master plan, okay, our parks master plan, citizen input, okay? That's how that plan's developed. But what that does is, it just kind of says, hey, council, down the road, we're going to have these needs, Give an example. One of the things that Brandon Thigpen and I, our facility superintendent, were just talking about last week, the air conditioning system at the rec center, the chiller is probably 25, 30 years old. Well, it's probably getting close to being on its last leg. It's running great. We don't need to replace it anytime soon, I hope. But somewhere down the road, we're going to have to replace that chiller. Well, that chiller is going to cost $200,000 to replace. So I told him, I said, we need to get it on that wish list, that future funding project list, just so future council's aware, hey, at some point, that chiller's going to go down. It's going to have to be replaced. And it's not a cheap fix. So that's kind of the purpose of the unfunded list. Doesn't mean we're doing them. It's just as a, excuse me, FYI in the future type of project. This year, council has approved the $150,000 for Restroom in Mulberry Park, and then $150,000 for improvements at the Bellaire Family Aquatic Center. With that, our focus is storage and deck space. Deck space over at that pool is super tight, and in some areas, I don't want to say it's unsafe, but it could be safer. It's just tight. So we're trying to get things like the pool blankets and the lane ropes off the deck to create area. Open it up a little bit more to give people better experience when they're at the pool. So those are the 2 projects that we're going to be focusing on this year. Feel free to ask me questions anytime, y'all. Okay. A couple of the organizations, professional organizations we're involved with. Texas Recreation and Park Society is the big one that we're heavily involved with. Then you have the National Parks and Recreation Association. We're involved with the American Camping Association with our Camp Paseo, and then the Texas Pool Council with our 2 pools. The Recreation Division, it's led by Ryan Smith, who's the Recreation Superintendent. And then under him, we have Grant Hayes, who runs the Rec Center. Victoria runs the Bee Life and our special events. And Derek, who's over camps and aquatics. I'm sorry, it should be sports, not aquatics. I missed that. Should be camp and sports, athletics. And then Wesley, who's over aquatics, and Amber, who's the administrative assistant. And then within there, we have handful or so of recreation aides that work the front desk and part-time positions. Grant's responsibility, like I said, or I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump back here. I'm kind of looking up there and trying to look down at my notes here. Within the Recreation Division, they are budgeted $1.6 million a year. They generate $860,000 a year in revenue. So we're basically at a 50% cost recovery. All our classes, our recreation classes, they are 100% cost recovery. We run those through contractual employees, okay, instructors. So there isn't a burden on the tax dollar. That's why they're all contract, they're not city employees. The areas that we really don't recover or we don't recover our costs would be senior citizens, our community special events, and then aquatics. And we'll get into aquatics a bit more. And aquatics will recover about 50% of the cost of running the pools. The city recently did a user fee study that the Parks and Recreation Department was part of. And what was really nice about the study is it basically told us we as a department are heading in the right direction, where we're doing what we should be doing. I'm one of these weirdos that loves to talk user fees. There's a philosophy behind it within Parks and Recreation. If you stop and think about it, you go, well, why do you charge what you charge for swim class? Well, why do you charge what you charge for dance class? Well, why do you charge, you know, and there's, because if we just start asking each other, I may say charge $10 and you say 20 and you're saying 30, but why? Why do we charge that fee? And it's important to know most municipal governments, if you really ask them, they don't have a real plan of why they do what they do with charging fees. They think it's the right thing, that probably is, but they think they're not 100%. Back in 2015, I initiated our revenue management plan for the department. And basically, that's our guide to how we're going to develop fees and charges. How do we do refunds? How do we secure other dollars? How do we determine what we're going to charge for our classes? And we actually have a little bit of a formula we use. Give you a quick overview or summary of it, how we do that. There's really three types of users, okay, when you look at your programs. If you have like a class that benefits just the individual, that's a private benefit, okay? For example, jazzercise, okay? If I go to jazzercise, well, the community's not benefiting from jazzercise. Karl Miller's benefiting from jazzercise. So this community is paying for the rec center, okay, for its operation, but tax dollars shouldn't pay for Karl Miller to go to jazzercise. You know, Christian, you may like to go bowling. Well, if you're going to pay for me to go to jazzercise, why don't we pay for you to go bowling? So there's a private benefit. There's no public benefit for me going to jazzercise. So in that case, we're going to charge 100% of the cost. Then if you look at your programs, like our special events, you know, our annual tree lighting we do out here, 4th of July. Those are come one, come all. We want the community here to be part of this event, enjoy it. That is a pure community benefit of a program. So we don't charge a fee for that. And there's other reasons it'd be really difficult to charge a fee to enter that type of program, but that's something that benefits the entire community. But then you get those programs such as, say, swim lessons. Well, there's a community benefit to swim lessons. We don't want our kids to drown, but there's also a private benefit to that. So we have a little chart we can look at, kind of answer some questions and grade it, and it'll give us an idea what we should be charging for the program. It's not perfect, and you and I could argue over, well, it should be 25 points or 20 points or 30 points on that scale, but it gives you an idea. So something like swim lessons have a dual public-private benefit. So that type of class may be subsidized with some tax dollars as well as with the user fee dollars. So there's actually some thought process that goes into how do we charge the fees that we're charging. So like I said, you don't want to talk about them, well, I'd love to. I'm actually one of these weirdos that enjoys that topic quite a bit. But we are through the user survey, the user fee survey that the city implemented. Parks and Recreation on national average was generating 20 to 50% of their revenue was through user fees. We were right at 32%. And then after looking through it, studying it, and making some adjustments, we're now right at 35% cost recovery for our all direct and indirect costs. So when I say indirect, that includes whatever Raquel's time, finances time, city manager, et cetera, as well as direct costs associated with me. So we're right there in the middle, which is a great spot to be. So I felt real good about it, that I knew we were doing the right thing, but it just kind of reassured me, hey, you guys are heading in the right direction. Grant Hayes, he's over Recreation Center, and within that, he oversees facility management. He doesn't go out, fix a broken toilet or anything like that, but he oversees making sure the building's clean, the building's working properly, it's clean, etc. He oversees the front desk staff, registration, rentals, activities, the fitness room membership, and our marketing, and some of the programs that we offer, and we were offering more of prior to COVID. COVID kind of did a real number on us at our classes, obviously, and we're starting to see them come back. It's slow, but they're coming. Dance classes, we do a little girls dance class for like 3, 4, 5-year-olds. That usually, the one that took place tonight, used to run, anywhere between 10, 15 little girls would be in the class. Tonight I saw 5, but it's getting there. So they're starting to come back, but it's slow. Some of our instructors are still holding off. They're telling us, hey, we'll come back in the fall. So, but that's an example of some of the programs that we are offering. Victoria, she oversees Be Life, which is our senior citizen programs, does just a fantastic job. Victoria probably has 30, 40 grandmas within the program. They all just love her. Couple dozen grandpas within it. She also oversees our special events, which is the 4th of July, Holiday in the Park, Charlie Run, Daddy-Daughter Dance, Party at Pavilion. She works for Sherman, the Pumpkin Hunt, picnics in parks, those type of things. And Planning Palooza is the newest event we did this past April, which was just a fantastic success, especially for the first year. It is a month-long program that we encourage citizens to get involved and go out and plant. And it's a lot from our end, a lot of marketing and promotions and social media. The library is heavily involved, and we do things beyond just planting. They'll do like story time with reading the kids books about plants, how to plant, or they'll do a craft where the kids have a little eggshell and they plant a seed to watch it water and watch it grow. Evelyn's Park, they work with Centerpoint, and they gave out, I want to say it's 1,500 trees they gave out, seedlings, just a ton of them. I was absolutely amazed when I pulled up. The line was it was huge. I was shocked how big the line was. Nature Discovery Center, well, that's right up their alley. Nature Discovery Center, they were doing stuff almost every day, relationship to Planning Palooza. What we do is we encourage people to go out, do some type of planning, whether it's in their yard, the neighbor's yard, their school, their church, their synagogue, wherever it may be, take some pictures, send them to us, and we're gonna put them on social media to help encourage people to get out and plant, to beautify Bellaire. Tremendous support, just, I was really amazed what a great job that Chloe did with that. Our pool program is run by Wesley. He oversees both pools, does just a fantastic job with the staff. He oversees the part-time staff, the lifeguards, cashiers, aquatic aid, contractual instructors. We, vast majority of our swim classes are through instructors, just like recreation. We do offer some group swim lessons during the summer that we run through staff, but the vast majority throughout the year are through private instructors. And then he's also responsible for training. That's not Wesley is really just done an incredible job on his training. He does monthly training. He's constantly training kids. Even the ones that go away to school and keep them coming back. He does some training. He brings them in during the winter break, and he'll do training at that point and encourages them to stay involved with us. There's actually a national lifeguard shortage, and that's been going on for about 20 years. I tell kids all the time, the best job you can get is be a lifeguard. Pays great, and you get a job anywhere you go. My son, when he went to College Station, first day he was there, applied for a job, he started the next day as a lifeguard. It was that quick. They pushed him through the system because they were desperate for lifeguards. And it's that way everywhere. You know, whereas Westview's in the same boat. There was about 2 years ago, Westview had actually shut their pools down a week or two early because of they didn't have enough lifeguards. What happens is, because of the way schools get out, the start of the season, we're opening pools and our lifeguards are still coming in, and we got to get our numbers up to here, and they're gradually getting there. We're opening the pools and we're opening this and moving this and struggling. And then we hit our peak. And then at the end of the summer, they start going back to school. So our numbers start dropping. So people wonder sometimes, well, why aren't your pools open longer? Why isn't Evergreen open longer? You know, or why is this pool open and not that one at the end of the summer? We don't have staff. Is the problem. Yes.
Karl, NPR did a great series on the new lifeguard is someone who's retired. So
I would love to.
yeah, so I'm wondering, I was wondering if you had started to reach out to potentially retired people, and if you hadn't, just to suggest, I could try to find a series and send it to you, but it was on NPR, go to the website, I'm sure it's there, and it's a really good story.
If you get a chance, I'm gonna try to remember it as well, because I would like to hear it. I would definitely be interested. I would love to have some senior citizens
I think
work
it'd
at
be
the
awesome.
pool and at the rec center.
Yeah.
You know, because especially like the early morning shift.
Yeah.
You know,
They're up anyway. I am.
yeah, I know,
I know.
well, exactly, yeah, your body gets in that habit every year, for years, you get up at whatever, 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and my grandpa used to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Man, that's what I need. I don't need some 21-year-old or 20-year-old that, you know, may have been up till midnight or studying till 2 or doing whatever.
Yep, thanks,
You
10
know?
o'clock is early.
What's that?
At 10 o'clock is early.
10 o'clock is when they're going out, you know?
10
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
don't remind me. I'm never there. Yeah, no, I would so highly encourage that, because, I mean.
Yeah, I would, I honestly, I would love to have some senior citizens. I really would.
But don't call them
Dependable,
senior citizens, just call them like, experienced swimmers.
experienced swimmers, yeah, we, I don't know if y'all know Barbara Davis. She's very
Yes,
active,
I do.
wonderful lady, she's in her 80s, wonderful lady. She uses the therapy pool all the time, and she's on our Senior Citizens Advisory Board. Every month, when I'm giving just a little update on what's going on in the department, I always turn to Barbara and go, Barbara, we're hiring seniors, or we're hiring lifeguards, should just let you know, Barb, you know, because I honestly would love to get some. I think it'd be fantastic. I thought I had a buddy of mine years ago who used to be the director in Westview, who retired. I thought I had him all set to go as a pool manager for Evergreen. And then it was like a couple of days later, he's like, I don't want to work. I did this for 40 years. I don't want to do this again, you know? So, but
You never
yeah,
know, some people may do it just to volunteer.
I would love to. I really would. To me, it's a great job, you know? And that's why, and pay for like the kids, you get a job anywhere you want, you can find a job, and it pays good everywhere, because everybody needs lifeguards.
Yep.
You know, so if you guys know any lifeguards, Eric, Lori, if you guys know of any, send them our direction. We're always hiring lifeguards. Derek is responsible for camp and our athletics. I got athletics right. I need to change that one slide. It said aquatics. He's responsible for camp, and I'll get into these a little bit more here on camp a little more, but he does a fantastic job with that. Athletics. The athletics that we run in-house are basketball and soccer. We do a lot of contracting. Bellaire Little League, we have a contract with, gosh, it's a soccer organization. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name. That we also.
Fans on Positive Soccer?
No. It's a club team group that uses Pin Oak. And I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of them. But anyhow, we do some contract with groups, but our primary in-house, we do soccer and basketball. That's another area we're always looking for is coaches. Where if a person is wanting to coach, they get bumped up on the list on making sure their kid gets on the team, and you know, and we bend over backwards for coaches because we always need them. So Camp Paseo, or I'm sorry, I didn't tell you the aquatics. I meant to tell you they're budgeted each year just a little over $700,000. They projected this year to bring in a little over $300,000. So their cost recovery is about 43% cost recovery. For a public pool, that's actually pretty good. Public pools, you don't make money. You don't recover your costs. The expense is so high on them just to operate them and keep them up. The therapy pool, that's heated, so it's open year round. And the lap pool over here at the aquatic center is heated and open year round. So the expense of operating those is just extremely high. And you just don't recover that cost. Like I said, we're running at about 43%. Camp runs 100 camp and our athletics, the soccer and basketball. We 100% cost recovery on those programs. Derek has done just a tremendous job. Before COVID, we were running at about 1,400 campers for summer. Now that's not all at one time, that's throughout the summer. And I say approximately because our schedule is based on HISD. You know, some years it's 11 weeks are out, some weeks it's 12 weeks, other weeks it's 14. It's just their schedule changes so often that the numbers vary and our costs vary. We hire approximately 35 high school and college kids. Derek actually had every one of his camp counselors from last year come back this year. Unbelievable. It's and I think that's a good testament to him and his mentoring of them. He's older and he knows how to play dad when he needs to play dad, and when to be hard on him when he needs to be hard on him. So he's got that good balance with high school and college kids. Program generates approximately $260,000 annually. We give you an idea. I said we run in 2019, we had just under 1,500 kids. We actually offered camp last summer, or not this previous summer, the summer before when COVID was really kicking in high gear. And I was told people, we probably had the cleanest, most sanitized building at the rec center of all of Houston. That thing was so sanitized. Derek did such a good job. He kept the kids in groups, all the 6-year-olds together, 7-year-olds together, 8-year-olds together. They never commingled. They had their own room. They were all in. They came in the morning, the building was sanitized. The kids, if they touched the ball or a game, once they used it, immediately went to a basket. They didn't touch it again until it was sanitized. And they took their breaks at the same time. So whatever time, say 10 o'clock, kids took a bathroom break, the room was sanitized. They come back, they go to lunch, the room's sanitized. Same thing in the afternoon. They take their afternoon break, we sanitize. They get done, we sanitize. So that building, they built some sprayers, and we used a liquid sanitizer we could just spray. It was basically an air pump with a paint sprayer, and it worked fantastic. So we could go through it like this whole room. I could sanitize everything in it, walls, floors, everything, 5 minutes flat. So like I said, I think we had the cleanest, most sanitized building of all of Houston 2 summers ago. We kept up the same, and that summer we ran at 70 kids for a week. Normally we run about 170 kids a week. That 2 summers ago, we cut it down to 70 kids and really isolate the numbers. This year we bumped the numbers up to 120 kids. So we still kept it a little bit more reduced. Went through a similar process, not quite as intense, but still everything was sanitized on a regular basis. Our specialty camps, normally we run specialty camps. 2 summers ago, we had none. This past summer, the only specialty, these are done through private instructors, private businesses, the private sector, where they pay the city back a percentage of the revenue they bring in. And they offer these variety of programs. This year, our art camp, which is the lady up at the top there, she's an elementary school art teacher. Fantastic. Her program fills every summer, just boom, it's full right away. She did a camp for us a couple weeks this year. And I'm thinking there was one other camp, but I'm sorry, I'm not recalling which camp it was. So our specialty camps were at a bare minimum this summer. We're hoping they're going to pick back up again this next summer. Park Superintendent is Buster Adams. I don't know if y'all know Buster. Longtime Bellaire employee. Born and raised between Bellaire and Westview his entire life, so he's lifelong Bellairean, guess you'd say. He's responsible for all aspects of parks and green spaces within Bellaire. That includes not only the parks, but the medians, and the right-of-ways as well. They do daily park cleanup, regular daily inspection of the ground and the amenities, maintenance of the right-of-ways, things like 610. He oversees the contract for the trash cleanup at 610, which can be a challenge. That's one of those, you can clean it up. They come in once a week and they clean up the trash in 610. You can come in and clean it up, and that afternoon someone's tossed a bag of trash out somewhere. So when it gets bad, we'll send the guys back over to hit it, pick up something like that. But you just, you never know with the 610 service rate. So when I say 610, we do just the grass area. Okay, we don't do the hardscape, just the softscape is what our agreement is with TechStat. Buster oversees all the repairs and improvements to the site. We have a tree health program, which we started several years ago, which has been very successful. Prior maintenance on the trees, I'll be honest, was neglected. And it really wasn't done except for when there's a problem. We've got a program now to where we try to hit every tree, do some trimming or pruning of them at least once every 4 years. Okay. Love to do every year, but it's just not feasible. And it really isn't really necessary to do every year. Maybe unless you do some light pruning. Now, if there's a safety problem or a real problem, yes, we're on it like this. And the storm we had, trying to think, gosh, it was Tuesday night, wasn't it the storm we had? We had a huge tree branch break over at Evergreen Pool on the back side of the building, and it was a real hazard. Well, we had our tree company over there that day to take care of the tree. We also found a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but broken tree branches on one of the trees in the empty lot next to the library, which we were really kind of surprised with. But our arborist said he believes it was a result of the freeze from back in, was it January, February, whatever the freeze was, February? Yeah, so he believes it's a result of that. And he said, we're gonna continue to see damage on the trees. That you're gonna see areas on the top of your trees where they're dead, you've never noticed before. It's kind of like frostbite and it just dies. We're gonna see trees that where they look perfectly healthy and all of a sudden they're gonna die on us. And I was reading an article in the Houston Chronicle several months back, and it referred, the arborist referred to them as zombie trees. Trees that look alive and healthy, but over the next 2 years are gonna die because as a result of the freeze, which I thought was really interesting. And Jeff Hanawat, our arborist, was basically saying the same thing. You're gonna see more damage as time goes on from the freeze. So we try to rotate our parks. For example, this year, when tree trimming, we're gonna focus on Locust, Driscoll, and Paseo Park, okay? We did, Paseo Park's pretty large, so we did half of it last year, we're gonna do the other half this year. We'll come in and we'll have our arborists do some real trimming of the trees, more than just a few branches here and there. The real challenging one is Russ Pittman Park. That's a challenge to work on those trees because there's so many trees. So in there, we have to really work closely with Nature Discovery Center staff and working that out. We have a similar program we do with ball field lights. The old practice was when we had a light go out or a ballast go out, we'd go over after, say, if there was one light on a ball field, we wouldn't place it right away. But 2 or 3 lights, we'd have to send somebody out, they get the lift out there, and then they're replacing. Well, you keep doing that, that gets really expensive. And it's a real maintenance headache, and it's a real hassle for the leagues wanting to use the ball field if they keep having lights go out. So we implemented a program to where every 5 years, we'll go in and change out all the bulbs. You're gonna get 5 to 6 years on the lamps. So we want to get to them before they go out. What you'll see is you'll see them starting to dim out, turn kind of pinkish looking. That means you're about to go. So this year, we're focusing over at Felton Park. We're going to replace all the lights. One of the things we're starting to find is that LED lights on ball fields, the prices come way down. And Buster's gonna price it out to see how much more would it cost to switch out the fixtures over at Felton Park from incandescent to LED. And that's what we're hoping we're gonna start going that direction, because that's really gonna eliminate headaches, and we can do that. We found, for example, in the gym at the rec center, we had 2 ballasts go out, okay? The lights were starting to go. We knew this year we were gonna place the lights. We had some ballasts go out. So Brandon's like, why don't we just replace them now, a year early? I thought, well, that makes sense. So we got a price, and to switch them out to LED, it was equivalent to us paying an extra ballast on the lights. The cost was insignificant. So we switched all the lights out in the gym to LED at very little cost to the taxpayers. We recently did the same thing over here at the Aquatic Center. We found the same thing. The cost was so insignificant. You pay up front, but over the long run, you're going to save money. So that's what we're looking at now, is saying, okay, where pay now, save later.
Can you factor in the saving in power?
No, we haven't. Yeah, and right there, you're right. You're going to save on your energy usage also. So
This is a big saving.
oh yes, it's
For
huge.
my business, I change all the chips, to LED. It looks like it's expensive when you do it all at once, but if you for the period of 6 months of electric bill.
Wow, that's quick.
And yeah,
Yeah, that's really
months.
quick.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. It was that quick. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's like these. I haven't quite, there's no bulbs in these.
no, these
They're not
are
bulbs.
LEDs.
And I don't quite understand how that works without a bulb.
It's
like
it's LED.
Yeah, it's really strange to me, that whole thought, there's no ball, you know? But, yeah, so we're looking at that more and more as we're going. Just FYI on utilities, you mentioned the utility, city gets an incredible rate. We're paying, ready for this? 3.9 cents a kilowatt hour. Wow. That's a good price, huh?
That's a very good price.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
But we don't have not much incentive to switch to LED.
Well, you're right. Yeah, we will. Like I said, we're working towards it. But yeah, that's just an unbelievable price, isn't it? You know, don't you wish you could get it for double that at home? You know, it would be nice.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I have a quick question.
yes, ma'am.
On the park lights, are the lights in all the ball fields set on a timer to go off, say at 10 o'clock, every single one of them? Because it seems like, yeah, maybe that's not the case.
no, they all have timers, but it depends on the park. Okay, some parks are on till 11, others go off. Trying to think, actually, they may all be at 11. This Feld's 11, Mulberry's 11, here's 11.
And why are they?
Little League may be,
Why are
'cause
they 11? Are people?
that's the
still
park
playing
curfew.
tennis at
Yeah.
11?
Yeah, kids are still playing out there. Yeah, it seems late to me, but yeah, they're still playing, which is amazing to me. I am old. You're absolutely. Yeah, it's same thing with the tennis court over here. They're scheduled to go off at 11, you know, and that makes sense. I mean, you got adults over here playing, so, you know, some work late or going late, different schedules, but, you know, there are times if you see them on, let us know. Because, yeah, we have problems occasionally with,
Well,
you
don't you know when
know,
they're
time.
out?
Yes, you do, and I appreciate that, because we don't always know. So, but no, and you know, that's a really good point though, because we don't see everything, and we really do appreciate people telling us. You know, I know sometimes people think, well, I don't want to complain. Well, it's not complaining. We may not know about it, you know, so we need to know, you know. We have certain residents that email us, they go, they're runners, you know, you're a runner. You probably see stuff that we don't see, you know. And sometimes, to be honest, you can't see the forest of the trees, you know, it's right there and you go, how do we miss that? You know, so that's something Buster and I do. We do monthly park tours. At least we try to do them every month, to where we'll take 2-3 hours. We go to different parks and we'll get out and walk. Buster has learned, I've always had this philosophy, it's anybody can find a problem in a park. Give me 5 minutes in any park in this country, I'll have you 5 problems, you know, where you can do better. And Buster's understood when I'm poking or pointing, it's not personal, because any of us could do it. That he's learned to appreciate it, because sometimes you don't see it. You've seen it so much, you just don't see it anymore, you know? So please let us know if you hear something, see something, you know, because we miss them. We do a similar program, a playground safety surface, to where we rotate every 3 years. We're trying to add more safety surface to it. It's not mulch. People think it's mulch. It's actually they call it engineered fiber, safety fiber or something. It's actually a similar to a mulch, but it's not mulch. The problem with mulch, I've seen cities where they've used Christmas tree, you know, being shredded and all that. You never know what you're getting in it, and it's not safe. This stuff is safe. It's a little more cushy. It does, you know, biodegrade over a period of time, so you do have to replenish. And it gets pretty expensive. And then I mentioned fleet management, contract man. It's a big part of his job. Contract administration. He oversees. Biggest contract is landscaping. Biggest headache of all contracts is landscaping. We have a great company. I really am very happy with Uscape. I've dealt with landscape contracts for 20 some years, and I've dealt with really horrible ones. I've fired really horrible ones, and I've worked with really good ones. And I will say they're probably the best I've worked with. Everybody makes mistakes. It's how they respond to it, is how I look at it. You know, I've had my frustrations with them, but they've responded in a positive manner and they take care of things. And then to me, that says a lot, you know. So that's a big contract of his. He's also involved in the planning of future projects, and I mentioned a little bit about fleet management. We've been blessed with that opportunity here recently, so it's a new challenge for Buster. He's actually has done a really good job on it. Number of parks, we have 15 parks. Comprised of 46.3 acres. Actually, I should say 96.3 acres. I'll ask you this, anybody know where Houston Hills is? Now you can't answer it, you
Well,
can't answer
I'm
it.
not sure either.
Pardon me?
I know too,
You know too?
from last year.
Oh, okay, from the past, okay, yeah. It's off of Rufino Hill Road and Beltway 8. The city owns 50 acres. Have you played it, the golf, when it was a golf course? I'll be darned. It used to be a golf course. No, that's okay, you play. It used to be a golf course. And went under. The city owns half of it, 50 acres. West University owns half of it. I have no idea how we came about owning it. Do you know how?
I can tell you later,
Okay.
yeah.
So anyhow, the city owns 50 acres of it. There are no improvements. The city spends no money on it at all in a year. I think we might have put one no trespassing sign or littering sign up since I've been here. There's a waste management company that rents or has a lease of 5 acres for a transfer station. But yeah, it's interesting. It's actually a very pretty piece of land. I've walked a good portion of it. It's actually very nice. But anyhow, so take Houston Hills out of it. We have 15 dedicated parks, and of that, it's 46.3 acres. City manages. Brandon Thigpen is our superintendent of facilities. He's another one that has a very big contract, and that's janitorial for the buildings. That's his largest contract. That's another one dealt with for 20 years, good and the bad. I will say we absolutely have the best I've dealt with here so far. Once again, they make mistakes, but it's how they respond. The program that this is under is through the state of Texas. The work used to be TIBH. The new name is Workforce, I think. And it is a contract through the state of Texas to where 75% of the employees have to have a disability, which is a great program, I think. Disabilities in Texas, Christian, is very broad in the understanding or definition. I really like it a lot. I think the owner is a fantastic guy. We've used them for, I've been here 15 years, probably 12, 13 years now, and I'm extremely happy with them. Ever there's a problem, they're right on it. So great program. But Brandon also oversees all the HVAC repairs, the preventative maintenance program, which I'm really big on, is preventative maintenance. That's why some of our equipment, like the rec center, you may have a 25, 30-year-old chiller, it's running good still. Take care of your equipment, it lasts longer for you. Plumbing, electric, all our fire and safety stuff, structures, mentioned preventative. Brandon helps a lot with the capital projects. We oversee 144,000 square feet of buildings is what we're responsible for. It's a lot of building space when you think about it. Some of our most recent projects was the municipal facilities project, which included this building and the police and municipal court building. Evelyn's Park, phase 1, they've now just started a phase 2 of that project. Nature Discovery Center, they really ran the program, but we were also involved, but they took on the brunt of that one. Holly Street Trail improvements, which are still ongoing. Library conceptual plan, public works facility master plan, various other park improvements, Ware Family Park. We've done improvements over at Evergreen, the dog park, we've done some improvements, Lafayette Park. Mulberry Park was huge. A lot of work has gone on over at Mulberry Park and cleaning that up. And I got to give a high five to Bellaire Little League with what they did with the ball field out there. It used to be a girls softball field. The girls softball league folded into West University. So they disappeared from using it. Little League jumped in. And if you told me they put $250,000 into that field, I'd believe you, because it is fantastic what they did. Then with the park improvements Buster did, the tennis court improvements, the new playground, it's completely changed that park.
Buster, do you have any idea, like how much additional cost the city is going to undertake when they start doing the maintenance on the new part of Evelyn's Park? Has that been?
You know, I'll be real honest with you, we don't know an exact cost, okay? I think it's gonna be real close to what it is now. And the reason I say it, because you're still gonna have maintenance, but it's different kind of maintenance. So it's kind of hard to tell if it's just gonna be, you know, dollar for dollar or dollar for $1.10. I honestly don't have a great answer to you for it, but I think it's gonna be really close. I don't foresee, and boy, I hope I'm right. I don't foresee it having a negative impact.
Is it going to include like the splash pool maintenance and all that?
Yeah, the splash pad it's set up to capture the water, and then we use the water in the park.
Yeah.
So that's the game plan. According to their studies, they're gonna be able to capture it, and it's all gonna go back into the irrigation system. It's great water. So, which is fantastic. So,
I mean, does it have to be treated like pool
No.
water with chemicals?
no,
or
because it's
anything?
city water, it's drinking water.
Oh,
You could actually
it's not
drink
really-
it.
It's not really rainwater, it's city water.
It's city water, and then the gray water is, once it's been used, goes in the cistern, and then it goes back into the irrigation system. So, you know, I really think it's gonna be real close. I really do. I don't see a huge, gosh, I hope I'm not wrong on that, but I don't see a huge difference. And that's what I told council. I think it's gonna be pretty darn close.
You know, you just scared me when you said it goes into the irrigation system. You mean the irrigation system at Evelyn's?
Evelyn's Park, yeah.
Okay, because I've been known to wet my towel on people's lawns that have their irrigation going, because it's like
Oh.
super hot. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
different
no,
water.
Evelyn's Park, no. That's clean water,
Yeah,
that's clean
right.
water, yeah. But and really, you know, yeah, it's considered gray water. It can't be too horrible, I wouldn't think, you know, because the vast majority of it's gonna go up and then back down to the drains. But yes, it is gray water out there. So, this year, some of our, and then library outdoor reading area is a new project that the patrons for Bellaire Parks, which I'll tell you a little bit more here real quick, so I'm running out of time, is that project they're looking to do. We're going to council on middle of October,
October 18th.
18th, and propose a project that Patrons for Bellaire Parks wants to fund, which is creating an outdoor reading area and kind of on the empty lot, as well as some educational activity areas in the backside, the backyard of the library, which is really exciting. I'm going to keep moving here. I'm going to take up all Mary's time. A couple of other projects this year is we're going to be council approved funding for a restroom in Mulberry Park, and then I mentioned to y'all the deck and storage area for the aquatic center. West Pittman Park and Evelyn's Park we have management agreements. City has management agreements with both facilities. Both parks are run and operated by 501c3 nonprofit organization. Nature's Discovery Center, they've been operating for, gosh, I don't know, 30 years or so, long time out there. At West Pittman Park, Evelyn's Park has been open now, I guess it's been 5-6 years. It's run by the Evelyn's Park Conservancy. The city is responsible for the maintenance of the grounds and the buildings, and then the organizations are responsible for the operation of the facilities and the programming, et cetera. Okay. Nature Discovery Centers, I don't want to say easier because that sounds wrong. It's more mature because they've been here longer. And so they're able to take care of themselves a little easier, I think, than Everyone's Park is right now. Everyone's Park really had their feet on the ground. They were doing fantastic. Boom, then COVID hit them, and it hit them really hard. It basically shut down everything they were doing. Then Patricia King Ritter, she resigned. They hired Terry Levin Chavez. If you know Terry, she's a new executive director. She came in right as COVID was raising its ugly head. She's done a fantastic job, but she's had a really tough time in regards to, you know, you need staff. Well, have staff, you have to have money. You have money, you have to have staff, and, you know, chicken or the egg kind of a thing. But she's done a great job. They're getting their feet on the ground again. And I see the momentum picking up there more and more out there. Patrons of Bellaire Parks, if you're looking to get involved with an organization, this is a group to do it. They're, if Wayne was here, I know he's involved, he would tell you the same thing. It's a fantastic group. They're fun and they work. You know, it's, you know, we all been on those boards where sit around and do a lot of talking and nothing really gets done. These folks work and they really have a lot of fun doing it. It's a fun group of people. They've raised, I want to say it's 1.8 million, but I was looking at this before. And I'm going to say actually it's probably closer to $2 million because they gave the city $100,000 about a year or so ago. We did some improvements and now they're fixing to donate another $70,000 to the city for the library project. So I want to say it's close to 2 million, but this is a fun group. They really, really do a lot for the city. And these are some of the events they're involved with. And that is it. Thank you very much. So I have to do a little song and dance, or, you know, for you. You know, I actually had a buddy had to do that back when videotapes, VCR tapes, everybody was using them, you know, 20, 30 years ago. He was actually doing a presentation at a conference, he was a videographer, on how to do quality video presentation. And his TV and VCR wouldn't work. Well, that was his whole session. So this guy was the funniest guy. He actually stood up there, started dancing, telling jokes and singing, get everybody rolling, you know, for 15, 20 minutes before they could get him a new TV and get everything set up. So, yeah.
Call for questions.
Call for questions. They've been asking questions, but if you have any more, I'm happy to answer them. Am I supposed to ask about the park tour?
Yes.
Was anybody going to be able to go on the park tour Saturday?
Book sale,
Pardon me?
book sale.
Oh, book sale, it is book sale.
I plan on coming.
You plan on coming? Okay, so we got two.
Wait there for me.
Two.
Yes,
We have two now confirmed. Then. We
Okay.
have Brian and Christian now.
What about
Would-
Eric and Lori?
Eric, Lori?
Eric and Lori?
I wasn't sure yet. I was hoping if you could tell us more about, are people just driving from each park, or how is it gonna be run?
No, ma'am, we'll meet up here at the rec center.
It's up
What
to
you
you.
tell
In the past, it's always been the rec center.
We'll meet up at the rec center at 9 o'clock and we'll climb into the van, right? Okay. I'll drive us around. A lot of it is a driving tour because we'll have 3 hours, but even then 3 hours is, we're moving the whole time. We will get out of the few parks depending on the weather, you know. This is one of the parks we'll kind of walk, we'll talk about a little bit. Then we'll hit a few others. A lot of it is just driving by, giving you some information on the parks. We'll be back here at noon. That is it.
Well, do either of them want to go?
Eric, Laura, are you guys available?
Raquel, if I can get back with you, I've got small kids, so I got to make sure I can see if I can be away for that long.
Sure. When do you think you can let us know by? Is it
Tomorrow.
Saturday?
Tomorrow?
Any chance by noon?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be wonderful. Okay. Well, then Christian will get with you. Okay, let you know what's gonna happen. That work?
Yeah.
Okay, super. All right. Well, y'all, thank you.
Thank you.
Feel free if you have questions, comments, you see anything, let me know. Don't hesitate. And enjoy your bribery. Mary brought her own bribery.
Remembrances.
Okay.
Thank you.
No remembrance, that's it.
Thank you, Carl.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Hey, Mary, let's, let me quick switch out.
switch out.
Yes. So that, because these have a small battery left, so I'm gonna use a fresh one.
Oh, I'm a second. I wouldn't miss Mary for nothing.
That's all right. He's already told me he wasn't gonna leave until everyone was finished, so. I appreciate his sentiment, and he's too much of a gentleman to deny. That's what he said. Good evening, and I hope our two virtual attendees are still with us. My name is Mary Cohrs, and I am the library director, or my official title is Director of Libraries, Director of the Bellaire Library, not all libraries, but close enough. This is our 70th anniversary year. We were founded in 1951, so we're doing 70 years, and I will have to admit that COVID kind of quashed a lot of our anticipated plans, but we're gonna be there. I'm gonna read a quote, and Andre, I believe you've seen this, so you cannot answer.
Okay.
Okay. When you were growing up, there are two institutional places that affect you most powerfully. The church, which belongs to God, and the public library, which belongs to you. The public library is the great equalizer. And I look around the room and I ask everyone what they might say, and the answer is Keith Richards. Don't ever judge a book by its cover sometimes. He has his own library, actually. And another quote I read across when I was preparing and updating this presentation is from Simon Jenkins. It's 2016, but it speaks to me quite a bit. And I quote, "Ever since the days of Alexandria, the library has been the palace of the mind, the university of all. The internet has removed its monopoly on knowledge, but it cannot replicate the sense of place, its joy of human congregation." And that says a lot of what the library is to me and what I feel is to the community. In January 1951, the Bellaire Women's Civic Club started collecting books to create a public library for Bellaire. By May of that year, that one-room little library was dedicated and given to the city. And that was in May 1951. So we're just past 70 years now. The members of the Bellaire Women's Civic Club felt that a growing community full of families needed a library because they recognized the importance of reading for an educated and literate society. In addition to serving the community's information needs, we also provide preschool story times to encourage early literacy. Quiet study and work areas are mostly quiet study areas when there's not a story time going on. Books to encourage appreciation in literature and adults. Resources for school reports, photocopiers, scanners, computers for assistance with schoolwork, job applications, training, and social contact. The library serves as a center of reliable information in our reference service, as well as preserving, circulating books and related educational, historical, and recreational material. This is the city department, and the circle in the lower left corner is the library. At this time, we are one of several departments, as you can see, and we report to the assistant city manager. Well, this past 2020 was challenging for us in a couple of different ways. In January of 2020, we had just finished migration for our circulation system to a new host, the Harris County Public Library, after the unexpected demise in August of the system that we were under that was hosted by Houston Public Library. The other challenge in 2020 was COVID-19 and how it continues to influence several of our service decisions. In March, the library, along with other city departments and services, closed the library to the public. And although we continue to offer curbside home pickup and Rita's advisory, we still miss the people coming in. We tried to get books to many people as we could through curbside and curated selections. Call us up and we'll recommend a book. Weekly story times are recorded, placed on Facebook or YouTube. Craft kits were created each week for the children to take home. Pop-up libraries started going outside to meet the people as the virus was easing up a little bit. While the library was closed in mostly April, May, and July, whatever, April and May mostly, we did a complete inventory of the collection. That means every book on the shelf was scanned. And we could do it only when we were closed to the public. For a few weeks, this was our highlight. Every book was in correct order on the shelf. Absolute perfect order. It was a sight to behold. And only librarians truly appreciate this. The telephone was always answered during our modified hours, and we assisted with reference questions and circulation renewals and helps any way that we could. Well, the library reopened this year on April the 7th, back to the public, and we implemented many COVID-19 safety protocols, included the removal of some of the public computers. We don't have all access to all of our computers yet. We took out all the soft furniture. It's all hard furniture that can be easily wiped down and cleaned. Worked very closely with facilities. This is where Karl was coming in and saying their department takes care of all of us. They took care of us by putting plexiglass between the table so that people could sit as far apart as possible and still have a screen. And at the front desk for the staff. They also have helped us supply with masks and hand sanitizers and everything to do to keep the community and the staff safe. Until March of 2020, the library was open 54 hours a week, 6 days a week, and 3 nights until about 8. And during COVID closed operations, we reduced down to 40 hours. We're still open 6 days a week until 6 o'clock. At this time, we're going to be reviewing those hours. We may not add hours, we're not sure, but we probably will be considering shifting some hours so that we're best able to serve the community and their needs. The staff always answers the phone. During the April and May closing, 2 of us worked remotely from home and we answered the phone from home, which got to be exciting when noises are going. If you've worked from home, there's noises going on that don't come through that work site. So you have to work around it. The book drop is open 24/7. The Friends of the Bellaire Library purchased our book drop several years ago. We had it painted in a sense, and it's, I think, a very nice visual attraction to the front of the library. Okay, the library itself, people, if you hit the right button, it goes, is 7.5 full-time equivalents, FTEs. My picture's not up there because you see me here, but these are the staff of the library. We have our assistant director, Jennifer Sessa, our youth services librarian, Tara Thompson. Up at the top is Kathleen Mars, who is, she just told me the other day, reminded me, she'll be celebrating 30 years coming up very quickly. She's a library assistant, followed by Rita, who is not far behind her in 30 years, probably 28, 29. Rita is our computer wrangler. She deals with all of the techie stuff that goes in the library. Sally Gross is below her, and she's been there 15 years. And then David Wu, we have a treasurer from finance department, and he does all of our purchasing problems and things. We're also very pleased to say that we offer services in Spanish and Mandarin languages. We also offer David, because he is a city employee and he is certified in his language, the opportunity to go to court. If any department needs a translator, he will be happy to go over and help translate. Rita is our Spanish speaker, and although she does not have the certification, she can get by with what she needs. She's not a translator, but she can give someone directions. David, however, is a certified speaker of Mandarin. We have also in place for support a teen volunteer program. We have not done it since we were closed, but this summer we started back up on a smaller scale. And I will have to say that as this afternoon, when I checked the list, there are 25 students who have volunteered or want to volunteer at the library. Andrea's eyes, I'm sorry y'all didn't see, just kind of raised up. We do have a system in place that only 3 can work at any one time at the library, so they have to call and make arrangements. During the school session, volunteering is at their discretion, their schedule. School is the most important part of their day, and we recognize that. But we are open a couple of evenings till 6, maybe later soon, Saturdays. And our holiday systems don't match HISD holidays. So when they're out, if HISD is out, Bellaire is out tomorrow, if anybody's volunteered, signed up to volunteer, they can come work the library. Monday, the rest of HISD is out, and those 3 at a time can come and volunteer. We also occasionally take the volunteers from Municipal Court. Those are also fun. So we do our best to try to give service hours to scouts and to service school service requirements. The funding that nobody ever likes to talk about, but it is here. That little red circle is us. It's called other programs. It starts with your property taxes, and the tax collector gets it and gives it back to the local government. The local governments, divvy it up, and that's where we go underneath under those other programs. We are tax supported by the city of Bellaire. That's the best visual I could come up with at this time. We also have 4 special revenue accounts, 3 of which are basically used. One is donations. People can donate books, donate funds for books to be purchased in honor of someone or of an event. Also memorial donations for the same reason, in memory of someone. We obviously have a fond favorite of the Friends of the Bellaire Library, who also helped establish us in a sense. And grants, any grants that we find that we can apply for, we do so. And they also have their own little line item in there. These are some of the collaborations that we had that we work with. We work a lot with the Friends of the Bellaire Library and the Parks Board and local scouts. And I've shown you only 3 pictures of the little free libraries. This is the concept of take a book, leave a book. The Friends are very supportive in refilling the little free libraries. We work with the Parks Board to get permission to put them in the city parks. Karl showed you a list of 15, and I don't think we're going to take over all 15 parks, but we got 5 in so far. But they are.
2 more coming.
Yeah, but they're not. It's not a friend project so much. But where were they going?
There's Eagle Scout that wants to 2.
Yeah, but where?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll help him because what we do with this is it's a promotion of literacy. The idea was if you're sitting in a park, why not read a little bit? So we do hope that we can continue promoting literacy through the donations that the Friends receive. And if they do not use for their book sale, then we put them in the little free libraries. Yes, sir.
So you have to replenish.
Mhm.
Okay, how often?
It depends on the area of the park. Correct me, Andrea, was it Evergreen goes down quickly?
Yeah.
So that one, someone on the Friends Board lives in that side of town, and she replaces it pretty frequently.
So I mean, that people take it, but does not.
That is true, but we're
Or they
not.
put thinner books.
Or they put, yeah, we also have a clean out of items that.
What kind of book seems to be successful? What kind of book? For more for kids or
We try to put
novels or?
we try to put a collection and a very wide collection of reading in there. I tend to put in like classic books, the classic titles. Children's books are very heavily sought after, but they also are the hardest to come by because they're so well loved by the time they leave the house that they're not very useful. I also like contemporary fiction, just the the shoot 'em ups, the spy novels.
That seems to be what's most popular, right?
It depends, again, a lot of that depends on your community.
Yeah,
I haven't really looked to see or studied what we're putting in versus what is still left there at the end of the day. That might be an interesting survey to do, but I don't believe that anybody's been real particular. But just try it. I would say most of the stuff that is taken from the donation pile are mainstream authors. I do not have that many languages that come through, but I think those also would be sought after in little free libraries as well. So, but it's fun just to see what goes. But yes, we're taking over Karl's Parks, one little free library at a time. So, but we do work with the Parks Board. We don't just go in and stealthily in the middle of the night and set up a little free library. We do ask permission, and we also meet certain standards that Karl and his crew have set, which is expected. They have certain standards in their parks, and we're not going to say, no, but we like pink. The other, he alluded to the project with the Parks for Patrons for Bellaire Parks. It is an exciting time. It will be presented to City Council on October 18th. The concept is there is a lot next to the library that has been vacant for some time. And Karl, I'm glad you mentioned the zombie trees, because as I came to work today, I think we might have a zombie tree, because there's
Hoping we don't, but yeah.
the one on the west side has two kind of dead, and I just saw it today. So
We're aware.
but you're right. You can see things like every day, and then suddenly you're going,
Dead stuff on the house.
how did that limb, how did that brown limb get there? So, but yeah, I think that's Mother Nature. You never know what's going to happen when it happens. Yes,
Hopefully not, it's a pretty tree.
it is a gorgeous tree, but maybe this is all. That's what we're gonna hope for. Anyway, this project is to provide the library an opportunity to provide some outdoor services to the community. There's without going into stealing the patrons too much of their thunder, but it's going to be a passive area for reading, for sitting, for just enjoying the sunshine. Nothing will be permanently built in there. So when the city decides if that is the location that we need to expand the library in, all of those items can be moved to other parks in the city. We're following Karl's recommendations and standards so that it's not a sore thumb sticking out of somewhere. It matches the standard that they have established for the city. But again, it's passive. The Friends of the Library have donated funds to help with the educational portion of the backyard, mostly for the little preschoolers, activity centers, paint centers. I'm not really sure what all it's going to end up with. And I think Karl, like I am, we've had so many things come at us and suggestions, and we've looked and we've talked and so we're just anxious to get it going. But it will benefit the community quite nicely, and particularly the goal of getting them outside and also get some of the library services. One of the
Can I jump in a little quick?
certainly.
I was gonna say, I'm really excited about this project, because Mary and I have been talking about this for 7 years, hoping we could do something over there. Back when the city originally bought that property, from the get-go, we were like, oh man, this would be such a cool outdoor reading area. to Expand the library, so we're excited about this.
We're thinking as we progress into doing more programming, our next phase in the COVID protocol is to do outdoor programming so people can still socially distance. We do not do any in-house programming at this time, but once we have an area, we can go outdoors and spread out a little bit more. So that's exciting. Well, I'm also, and I'm going to do it, Karl, I'm going to do it. the west side of the building, the two-story side of the building, is a nice brick wall. And we now have movie licensing that covers outdoor presentations. And so we're thinking you can sit in the lot and we can show a movie against the side of the library. On these nice evenings, finally, where we gotta make sure the mosquitoes don't haul you off, but the nice evenings that we can sit down and watch a movie on the side of the building.
Hospitals like movie nights as well.
Yeah, they do.
We just won't have the dive-in movie
Yeah.
that the parks, or the pool people and the patrons do. We'll have a park movie or something, but it's still, the goal is to give the community something else to do as a family unit, just, and be outside at the same time. And learn a little bit more about the librarian literacy. Always pushing books, we are always pushing books. Some of our other collaborations include just about anything that Parks and Recreation Department puts out and does. We thoroughly enjoy it all. Last year was a challenge for both of our departments. We couldn't let people in the building. They couldn't let people into a lot of places. So we had a boo drive-through, which was, spectacularly attended. In fact, I don't think anybody quite expected that type of attendance. And then it was revisited the next day for the Be Live people in the daytime. So we were Wizard of Oz. This is the library stuff that we did. And of course we have the Holiday in the Park and the Santas. Always fun on that.
I didn't know Mary had a connection with Santa Claus. Did you?
Yes, that's my husband. So, and then Picnic in the Park. This was the second one that we participated in, and this was also over. We were holding down third base over at Feld Park. Great attendance, and I was always very excited to see the number of people that come out and they go, oh, it's the library. Now I don't have our winning prize from the 4th of July, which we won second place. I didn't bring that, and I didn't set that up here, but we do try to participate. It's fun, and it just gets a lot of our creativity flowing at times. So then one of the other things that we do is we do deal with collaborate with a number of other communities. This was 2 years ago, the Register to Vote at the National Voter Registration Day is always held for the end of September. Last year it was a drive-by and we participated in that. This year it was last Tuesday during all the rain and thunderstorms. So we didn't do a drive-by, we did it in the library and in front of the library. But still, this was a presidential election and attracted a good number of drivers. This last Tuesday, I'm afraid I will have to report that it wasn't as exciting, but it's still very important. And the library is a site that will always have voter registration forms. We are required to, when you get a library card, you renew your library card, or if you just want a voter registration, we can provide those for you at any time. The members of the Bellaire Garden Club created a pollinator garden in our backyard that is now sort of going to be part of the plan of the educational part for the building. And they one cold January, they just got out and got everything planted. And of course, when I went to update the picture for this presentation, it doesn't look quite as pretty as it did, so I decided not to update the photo. And then we also collaborate quite a bit with HEB Buddy, who they've been very, very supportive in our activities. They would help us do hearts for seniors, shut-ins and seniors, a heart Valentine's, and we also talked about healthy eating. And they just say they promote us any way that they can. The kids love it. No, that's not the one. We have some that just go up and hug poor HEB Buddy's leg so hard. And then we have some that are gonna do one of these with him. So it's fun to watch them anyway. One of our biggest fans and favorite people of the world is, of course, the Friends of the Bellaire Library. They are a 501c3 organization formed in 1951, October 1951, as a matter of fact, to support the library. They hold 2 outdoor book sales a year. This next one is for the first time since November 2019, and it is day after tomorrow. The day it is not going to rain. There's not going to be any rain day after tomorrow. So, Karl, you can have your parks tour without rain. We're going to have a book sale without rain. It's a way for them to raise funds for the library. They have a membership meeting in January, late January, early February each year, where the members vote on how to distribute the funds to the library. We give them a select list of what we wish to do with it, and then they either fund it or they don't fund it. They are the main supporters of our summer reading program. Karl also mentioned some of the changes that came about through COVID. One of the things that we discovered in 2019 was our online registration program for reading was non-existent. It was, you had to come in and fill out a form. We're doing it completely different this year. We started Bean Stack to electronic registration through an app or the web. And we also have and I couldn't get to the slide because Raquel wanted these so early, we didn't have the graphics done. Starting tomorrow is Spooktober. So for 30 days, it's a reading challenge for children, teens, and adults to read. Hit three challenges on this little list, and you can come in and get a goodie bag for your efforts in reading. So we're trying to utilize this program to encourage reading throughout the year, not just summer. So let's say, anyway, be sure to look for the annual meeting for the Friends. They will be meeting in January. And Saturday at noon, the Friends recently held a book art contest, which again, she had this graphic too early and I couldn't put the latest things in there. There is a book art contest that the Friends conducted for the 70th anniversary celebration, and the winners will be announced Saturday. But the book art is on display at this time. So as a resource, we, of course, there's our card, free of charge. You just have to be a Texas resident in order to receive it. We also, because we are hosted by the Harris County Public Library System, have reciprocal borrowing with Harris County Public Library. And as an accredited library with the state library system, the TechShare card, you can come to our library, and as long as you have a current, valid, and no fines on your library card for at least 6 months, you can get a TechShare card, which is a sort of a reciprocal borrowing card to university libraries throughout Texas. It will allow you to utilize collections outside of our public library. So it's a great advantage for research people and students doing some other research.
Mary, did I send the books to the library like Harris County as well? Or do you have
No,
to go to the
TechShare,
library?
you can go to that
Go there,
library. If
okay.
you wanted to go to,
Fondren Library.
well, that's close by. Say, if you want,
Maryland.
Pearland?
You go there?
Well, that's a Brazoria County Library System. This is mostly, and you can do that, but they also can give you a card. But if you go to like a university, Sam Houston State University in Huntsville, if they are a TechShare member, they accept that card and you can borrow material or use their site. So it's great for, say, research more than anything, or the Fondren Library at Rice. There's a whole website devoted to TechShare materials. Anyway, we also have, yes, I'm in the right place. We have some of the copies of the budget. We did have a little bit of problem with Harvey. We had a little bit of a roof leak that just went right down on top of some of our budget copies, but those budget copies have been scanned and are available electronically. So there are some loss, but material, the information is still there. We have some Bellaire documents. We also have Bellaire High School yearbooks. I know back to the 60s for sure. We also get them donated for once in a while, and we squirrel them away upstairs. The archives hold several historical photographs of the early history of Bellaire. And through a collaboration with the Friends of the Bellaire Library and the Bellaire Historical Society, Bellaire newspapers from the early 30s, 40s to the early 80s have been digitized and available online through the Portal of Texas History that is held by the University of North Texas. It is keyword searchable. I'd be happy to give anyone any kind of directions or show you how to do it. It is fascinating. It is fun. You get lost in whatever you're doing. I recently did a search because I was curious, but our police chief is new to the city, and one of the discussion issues is the pound. And so he was, saying, "No, I don't know anything." And I'm going, "Well, oddly enough, I don't know that much either." So I started doing a search for the newspapers. Mind you, these are just the newspapers. I had more fun just researching back to when there's been 4 locations in Bellaire, in case you didn't know that, where the pound was located. And one of the chiefs was determined to get a cat out of a wheel well and didn't think it was going to be a problem. The humane officer was on vacation, but he could get this cat, and according to the article, the cat won. So those are the local history, the stories that are just more fun. But I did a lot of the searching at home because I was not getting anything done at work and did all the search, but it was fun. Our circulation system, as I said, is a collaboration with the Harris County Public Library with a reciprocal borrowing. We also just recently, City Council approved an interlocal agreement with the City of Pasadena, who is also a member or being hosted by the Harris County Library. So you also have reciprocal borrowing with Pasadena Public Library. So that means if you find yourself over in Pasadena on a job site or something, or you work there, you're visiting, you can take your Bellaire card into Pasadena and borrow material. You can return it back to Bellaire and we'll transit it back to Pasadena. So same thing with Pasadena. If they're working in this side of town, they can come into ours, or they can go online and request it. So we share material back and forth. Now, I will have to say that some of the Bellaire residents have an advantage, is that the new books stay in Bellaire. You have to check it out with the Bellaire card from this library, as well as some of the other material that we offer. Any audiovisual equipment can only be loaned to a Bellaire resident. Uh-oh. Oh no, Karl talked too long. So teamwork. As you saw in the pictures earlier, the libraries, we do about anything with Parks and Recreation staff because they're just so much fun to work with. They do have a great time. The 4th of July parade, we sometimes tell stories at the 4th of July, although if it's too hot, then we don't. And holiday in the park, we just do anything and everything that we can. We're going to be, we're coming to the end, folks, coming to the end. Current projects include the conclusion, and we're implementing the interlocal agreement with Pasadena Public Library. We will be updating the library's 5-year long-range plan, which is part of the accreditation process of the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. There soon will be a library survey of how you want to see, what you want to see in the library coming out very, very shortly. It's going to, so we can have feedback from y'all as to how you want your library to work and operate. What do you need to see? It will have to go into the plan, and the whole plan has to be approved by City Council. We're shooting for December for that. We have received the Texas Municipal Director Library Association's Award of Excellence since 2017, and we'll apply for it again this year. It is given by the affiliate of the Texas Municipal League. as to library service. We have to meet certain criteria. And so, of course, I think we do. We are also promoting eRead Texas, which is a second digital platform for digital eRead book from Texas State Library and Archives Commission. We have Overdrive, but this also gives another option for people to borrow and download ebooks. Last Saturday, an Eagle Scout finished up a project to expand the library area for the Friends indoor book sale, and it looks very nice. And then we also, because of the COVID decisions, we are implementing Beanstack, the website used to track reading, electronic registration, and how to track reading. So it's been a lot of fun. Our Spooktober, what's coming to the window, challenge for the month of October. And we're planning for next summer's reading program, which is Oceans of Possibilities. So that's going to be fun to plan. That's basically all that I have. There's some book art that you can look at and have fun with. I thank each and every one of you for sticking with us through this late hour. Come to the library. We're there. Visit Karl, go get a book, go to Karl's Park and read. Any questions I may answer for you? Anybody still awake?
How many members? How many?
We have about, well, a little over 12,000 current registered borrowers. Today is the last day of the fiscal year, so I'll be running all of these numbers, and in about 2 days, well, early part of next week, I can give you an exact number of how many we
I don't care
have.
about the exact number, but out of those 12,000, how many are active?
All 12,000. Well, when you say active, but they're actually using the library, I do not have that information. I can tell you how many cards are valid. But I know there's a way to extract it from the computer. I just have not done so, because it seems like every one of them on some days. But we do have a number of families, growing families. They're finding us again. We are happy about that. And that's why we're looking at our shifting so that we can best meet their needs. You know, Saturday is a big family day. And so I think we're going to have to look at where we can do some shifting so that we can meet the families that come in on Saturday. Number wise, from what I remember on that, Saturdays can get over, and we're only open 4 hours, over 200 people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the end of the day, it's sort of, so we do track it daily, and that's what some of this instrument in the statistics that we use to make some decisions about shifting these hours.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Karl, you have anything?
No, ma'am.
Karl's been very helpful and very supportive of the library. So as much fun as I
Everyone's very
give
supportive
him,
of us, so.
yeah, as much hard time as I give him, he's a great collaborator. And that's why we do this tonight together, because
Yeah, our departments do work very close hand in hand.
yeah, everybody looks at us as the fun departments, but we know we're the ones that really work. Oh, hi, Raquel. Well, with the exception of, fire and police, they got the shiny little trucks and, they save lives. So. But they're very, very helpful as well. I will have to give a plug to Chief Tittle. He was over today recording his story for the National, Fire Prevention Week next week. And that's what we'll be posting next Wednesday, is Chief Tittle reading a book on fire safety.
Oh, very cool.
So he's a great guy to work with. And Chief Mo, last year during Seuss time, I read, I think it was One Fish, Two Fish, maybe in Go Dog Go in Spanish. And it was recorded so that we could then play it back. So they have been very, very supportive and a lot of fun. So next Wednesday at 11, look at the library's Facebook page and you will see Deacon reading story.
Make sure you send that to us. because we'll put it on the Parks and Rec Facebook too.
Okay. Be happy to. And then we have a craft that goes along with it that Rita is our tech and craft person. It's a fire truck that opens out that has stop, drop, and roll on it. So we have fun. I know Karl knows what I talk about. We just have fun creating and seeing the excitement in kids when they come into our facilities to dance, to swing, you know, when they get excited about a new apparatus in the park. It's just so much fun to watch, and then to watch them grow and come back with their own children. That part's not so fun, but it is still, you know, they come in and I had a lady yesterday say, oh, do you have this book still? And we looked down it. Yes, we do. Oh, that was one of my kids' favorites. And they were asking about that. So that's why we do what we do. But I thank you very much for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the white bag is from the library. And it also has some of the items that the Friends of the Bellaire Library have supported us with over the years.
Thank you.
I thought it was close to that.
Well, if you would like an extra Parks and Rec bag, please feel free.
Thank you
Because
so
this
much.
is all leftover kind of stuff. If you got like, you know, family and kids, whatever, you know, one extra.
We can
I'm
get.
not anymore kid at home.
Yeah.
You,